Hello, it is Lord Haywire. I am streaming some 2D4X like I do on most weekends. I was just thinking I was having my pre-stream smoke, and I was thinking there should be another activity for heroes. We'll get into the whole introduction in a second here. Uh, Increase social unity. This would remove negative traits from people. So we'll add that in. Not anytime soon. It has nothing to do with what we're doing today. I just thought about it, and I was like, there has to be a way to get negative traits off people. I was thinking about population growth. I was reading Reddit, and they were talking about population growth in Victoria 3, and that made me start thinking about population growth in my game. And then I was like, wait, there's going to be a point where you might have a bunch of people who are unhappy and they're not going to work. So anyways, we got that there. What is 2D4X? 2D4X is a 2D4X video game that I'm creating while I learn C#, and I'm using Godot, the open source game engine. I'm using 4.4.rc1. We still have this bug problem where it's not showing it right now, but it will soon, where it throws these errors, but they don't seem to do anything. Right before I started streaming, I fixed something, which right after I was done, I was like, I wish I had done this on stream. So I was having this problem yesterday. I guess I didn't finish my introduction, but this is a 2D4X is like a post-apocalyptic game. It's going to take place in North America. Right now, we're just using Oregon as a template for a test in one county. It's inspired by like Dominions and Paradox games and Shadow Empire. Every strategy game I've ever played. There's some game I was thinking about. We're almost to this exploration part of, and I liked it. I got this idea from another video game, which I can't remember the name of, where you would explore your counties. I really like that game mechanic, so that's going to be in my game. Just in being inspired by a bunch of different games. So let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, so on this is very strange. We're going to need to go to my equipment, my good data. I had this equaling new, and so that was creating a new one. I thought that would be required because so these goods now have equipment data if they're, so you can make different goods, right? Like, whatever. You can't make canned food, but like you can make fish by fishing, right? And some of them are equipment. Obviously, fish is not equipment, but I was doing it for a test. And I set that to new so that any new one would have a thing in here. And then I changed some of them, but when I was running the game, they were like, it wasn't duplicating them. It was making them all the same, which has been a problem in the past with resources, with the Godot resources. So I took that new thing out of here, but it actually remembered all of the changes, and it actually was all jacked up. And so I had to go through and delete them all, which I thought was weird. It seemed strange to me that operated that way because I took away the new. Maybe that's on purpose, but it really didn't seem like it should do that. Anyways, what are we working on today? Something broke with the heroes activity. So yesterday, I was like, wow, I thought a new problem has appeared with the hero activities. So right now you can select your heroes and have them do stuff. And this was all missing, and I had somehow, when I was messing around with my branches, I had somehow gotten on an old branch and it was editing an old branch. And so yesterday we spent like 2.5 hours just repairing that damage. And anyway, I was thinking, I did some math, and it was an infinitesimal amount of time that I wasted. And it wasn't that bad. It could have been much, much worse. Usually my branches are massive, and it could, if I hadn't noticed that and went on, if it wasn't such an obvious mistake, it would have been disastrous. So I guess I kind of learned my lesson. I'm sure that this is like one of those things. There's like a checklist of mistakes you make as a programmer that you learn from, or hopefully you learn from. I hope I learned from this. And this is probably one on the high on the list that I'm surprised it hasn't happened before. Using GitHub and fucking it up, it would be on the list somewhere. And, I'm now done that. Check it off the list for mistakes I've made. So what we're doing today is back to this thing, set up UI so the player can check the newest equipment. So right now how it works is your equipment list, it's just going to take the oldest equipment that you have. Oh, I didn't rebuild that part. We need to add a checkbox in here. So let's do that. It's not the end of the world. I don't know why I'm clicking on that thing. So we need to add a checkbox over here. And so this checkbox, let's put it, it's way down here. It's the right panel. We're on the right panel over here. Let's put it below this, I think. Yeah, so we'll add to this VBox container, we'll add a checkbox. Maybe we should do a check button. Which one's better? I think a checkbox. And we'll move this checkbox up here. And then we will center it. You know, I was whining about something yesterday. So one of the things I don't like in life is that when you click on a, look how this text is a different color. What the fuck? When you click on a checkbox in any, I was complaining about this yesterday, in any website, any form, and you have to check the actual little checkbox thing. I don't like that. I like it when you can click the whole button, the whole thing. So maybe we should work that in from now on, since that's the way I like to do it anyways. It's kind of a pain. I'm surprised there isn't keep pressed if the no, I'm surprised there isn't like make it all, make the whole thing a button. Kind of drives me crazy, honestly. But maybe we'll just deal with it. Just have it, I'm the only one who probably cares, right? Probably that is, yeah, I'm probably the only one who cares. So maybe we won't mess with it. We're going to open up next. We're going to open up our localization here. And I'm definitely going to put an issue in. I've decided about these errors since I wasn't getting any traction on the, let's check it one more time. I wasn't getting any traction on my issue or my help request on the Godot forums. I get very few hits though. Yeah, I only got 37 in like a week and a half or something. So 37 views. Maybe I did a bad job creating my help thing, but whatever. Nobody gives a shit. They need to work on growing the community. It's like one of the biggest things that growing and retaining the community. That's what they need to do. And I think that's one of the main things that Godot drops the ball on, is they're kind of like, if we build it, they will come thing, but that doesn't really work in real life. Newest equipment is what we want right here. They need to do like sponsor streamers, and I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about people who make tutorials. So Unity does a thing where they sponsor people. They give money to people to make. Look how fucking stupid this is. Why is this different? Yeah. See how upset that makes me? It's Tinkle Wings. How's it going? Why is that different? Well, okay. We'll just pretend it's not different. But I don't want this to be so far over. It wasn't like this before. I would have been whining that day too. I guess I can align this left, and then we make this checkbox centered. we make it shrink. That's what we do. That's where am I going here? Container size, shrink beginning, shrink center. There we go. That's fine. Even though that's a different. Why is it a different color? Why is the text a different color? Get the fuck out of here with that. Anyways, so like I was saying, Unity has this like program where they sponsor people to make tutorials, and it's, you know, I'm sure there's many people who are like, why aren't they spending that money on developing the engine? But the thing is, you got to have people use your engine, and especially in Godot's case, because Godot has to get donations to continue to run. So they need to try to retain more people. So the Godot forums, it shouldn't be 37 views, even if I write a crappy help thing. They're not connected, by the way. The Godot forums managed by the volunteers, I believe, and they're unconnected. They're unconnected. But what they should do is they should sponsor people who make tutorials to help get better tutorials out there, to support the community that's already building the tutorials, so that people will come and stay using Godot instead of giving up, you know, because it's like kind of fucking hard to learn things when there isn't enough tutorials. And so that they really need to take some money out of the development budget and put it towards, I'm not talking about like 50%, I'm talking about like 10%, you know, a small amount. Their streamers are already doing it for free. Might as well try to support the guys that are doing it for free to give them a little money so that they can continue to do it, so they don't just give up and stop doing it. Because that's what happens. Is people, well, you know, they're looking at their YouTube views and they're like, if I do a Unity tutorial, I'm going to get 10,000 views, and if I do a Godot one, I'm going to get 7. So, and you know, they're going to, fuck it. And when there was that big Unity implosion, everyone said they were switching away from Unity, and all those people went back because they're not getting any hits. And that's, you know, our lives are now hit driven. We can't do anything unless we get hits. Okay, there's my diatribe for today. All right, I'll have another one in like 10 minutes, but that's my diatribe for right now. Anyways, newest equipment. We need to put this. I have a script somewhere. Here it is. We need to add that. Oh, it's already here. We need to build this and drag this thing in here. And there's our errors again. I feel like this is in the wrong place now. This should be up here, this script. Well, no, yeah, you know what? It's fine. It's better there because we'll have a different script over here when we do it. Yeah, that's fine. Newest equipment checkbox. And then we'll rename this to newest equipment. Why the fuck is that font color different? It's just blowing my mind. That's different. And I think I've encountered this before. Does it really look that way though? Let's see. Occasionally they don't. That's not true. You know, it doesn't look that way when you actually look at it. What's this bug going on? What are you up to today, Stinklewinks? Braving the Florida life? Oh, the reason why it's different is because it has a hover over. Oh, and look, it does the thing I was complaining about. Well, what the fuck? Okay. I take back all my criticisms, except for it has a focus on. I cannot believe that's... I'm just going to whine. I should have made my time. Today I whine a lot. I don't like these focus stuff. No, nothing. I do not like focus. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure why it defaults to all. But there we go. I guess so you can tab through. It's going to come bite me in the ass at some point. I'm going to be like, why doesn't none of this shit work? But yes, that's what we want. That's fucking beautiful. All right. Well, except that it's gray. I should change the clicking thing. Anyway, auditing your UI library. What does that mean? So now we have to make that do something. So we have this. So we need to make that do a couple of things. So we have in this thing, we have this generate. It should be the quartermaster that does this stuff, but what is this doing? This isn't actually generating the equipment. This is populating. Populate equipment. Ah, nice. Is that a tedious chore, or is it kind of fun? Or is it something else? So this is just populates this shit. Both. Both. Yeah. So this is gonna populate. Let's test this other thing just because I don't remember if I tested this. Yeah, so this is not there for normal people, only for heroes. That's what we wanted. So this is gonna do this, but now we have to put in like what that checkbox does. Newest equipment. We'll just do can this be private? I think this is gonna be private. Void. Check newest equipment checkbox checked. All right, we gotta do pressed. It's always gonna be pressed. And then we're gonna put a thing in here, and we're just gonna GD print newest equipment checkbox has been pressed. And then we're gonna link this with a signal here. It's a toggle. Oh, we gotta build it. Whoops, no. Enough to get out of here. Disconnect all. Did you help that guy with his computer? That guy in chat? Was he able to fix his problems? Nice. He was having some like fan rattle or something. I didn't connect this, so I shouldn't have ran that there. Oh, he fried a motherboard and power. Wow. That is bad. That is pretty much the worst thing you can do. Whoops, why do I keep clicking connect here? Let's see, we want to pick. I think we have to pass in a bool because we need to know. I don't think we need to mess with this toggle because it's already, I think we need to pass in a bool. Well, let's connect this. I can't remember. No, we don't need to pass in a bool. We can pull the bool. Oh, yeah. Sometimes, you know, I've given away a lot of PCs, like especially because as an IT guy, I just get old junk, and it's mostly junk, and sometimes people want it though, you know. And you know what I should have done in here? We're gonna do this, and we're gonna put a space at the end of this. So we're gonna go plus checkbox. What did I call that? Newest equipment newest equipment dot pressed. I think it's no. I think it's that. I just want to double check. Then we can use that to tell what's going on. We're going to apply this actually to we're going to apply it to on the population data. Perfect. So then what we're going to do in here is we're going to go, do we know the population data here? It doesn't look like it. How are we getting? We have it here. We're passing it in. We need to get this population data from somewhere. And we can't pass it in, but I think we have this right here. We do, then we just do this. So we just make that match whatever that thing says. You know, I probably told this story before, but one of my friends was complaining that she didn't have a computer at all at her house. And she used to be a big, she used to do web development for like Amazon and stuff. So she was like big into computers. And I offered her a computer that I have in my house that works great, but it's Linux. And she just wouldn't, she had no interest in it. And she knows how to use Linux. And I was like, well, you could probably install Windows on it. I don't know. I mean, I do know. You can install Windows on it. It originally was Windows, but I didn't need the Windows headache, and I wanted a Linux computer, so it had Mint on it. I was quite surprised. I mean, if you want a computer and it's free and it's gonna run better, because it was aged. It was an older computer, so it's like Linux is the way to go, I feel like. So this hopefully will work. I guess we should test this. I'm really into testing all the time. Yeah, I'm gonna put an issue in with on their GitHub. I almost did it last night because we're to the drive me crazy phase. I can put up with stuff. All right, we're not getting bugs for a minute. All right, so when we press this though, we need to generate the new equipment that the quartermaster does. So the quartermaster has this thing that it equips the hero. So when we press this, we need to make the quartermaster equip the hero again for this guy, which we've already set this up. So let's do that. I mean, all we do is just put quartermaster equip heroes. I mean, this is it. Do we need to pass anything in here? Population data. We got that right here. I mean, we could make this less dog shit and go. I mean, it's always gonna be dog shit. Come on, who are we kidding? We can go like this, and then we don't need all this long crap. So whenever I do stuff like this, I think back to my good old days of when I first started and how confusing this was for me. It was extremely confusing from when I found this, because everything's named the same in C#. It's on purpose. And you get used to it, but at the beginning, like, why is everything population data? You know, like it's so confusing. When I rated that guy yesterday, I was looking at his stuff, and he wrote his C# completely different than mine. And how I'm just talking about like not syntax, I guess. I don't know, layout. I don't know, something. And I was surprised. He was also using underscores, and I was surprised because I thought underscores we don't do that anymore in C#. And maybe I'm, what the fuck do I know? But I thought it was interesting that his code looks so much different than mine. And this is back to my complaints always that there's no best practice anywhere. I mean, there probably is, but it's like everyone's come up with their own way to do it. If he looked at mine, he's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So it's interesting that things are so different. Obviously, if you've used it for a while, you'd be able to figure out stuff. Like I like this thing, and he liked to put him over here if it was small. And there's probably a reason why, but it's very strange how different his code looked just from layout perspective. And he also had like a task thing. I mean, I only watched his stream for like 15 minutes. He set up some tasks to run, and it made like I have not quite understood how tasks work. In watching him for like 15 minutes, I was like, wait, I think I now understand tasks. Like, not completely, but a lot better. Like, it's starting to get there. And I was just thinking while he was streaming, like, I could use this in like 7 different places in this game specifically. So, well, I don't want to get too, okay, I will get sidetracked. So I have these actions, and I think I should change these into tasks because this is being around at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And my fear is that these will slow down the game, like we'll grind. But I think what I can do is some of them need to happen. You know, this has to happen before this, so we couldn't run them parallel. But we could set up things so certain things could run parallel, like this hour 4. We could run it like at the same time as hour 2 or whatever. And it offloads its multi-threading, so I think it's going to offload to the CPU differently to the different cores or whatever. So yeah, I need to watch people who are better programmers than me more often, I guess, or do some more tutorials. Probably do some more tutorials. I need to take a class or something, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. And now that I'm old, I can just be people. Hey, you want to go to a party? No, I don't want to. You don't give any reasons, any excuses. No, I don't want to do that. Anyways, so we equip the heroes. This is if this is false, though. So we can put an else in here. I have this new thing of it doesn't matter. So for this, we're sorting this right here. First or default. So we need to, so we're basically we can do this better, I think. So what I'm thinking here, we don't need this whole thing. It does the same thing. We just need to sort the list differently, depending on. This thing's annoying me for some reason. It started this morning. I looked at it and I was like, God damn it, I want that to go. So what we can do, let's rewrite this. So we do this. If this is like this, then we sort the list. Oh, the list has to exist first, though. So we go up here. We first add. We add all the equipment. We don't have the I, though, huh? Okay, wait. This is what we gotta do. Did I get back out far enough? Why does this look like this? Go back to the beginning. So what we gotta do is this is already at the top. We don't need this. This is the problem. We don't need this. Then we do this. So this creates the list. And then what we do is we put that if here. Whatever that if was. If population data use newest equipment is equal to false. If this is the equivalent to false, I was reading my code. Hey, Lord Mac, how's it going? How is your life? How are things going in Lord Macland? Is that a place? That's got to be a place, right? So then we put this. Fairly good. That's good. You know, I'm thinking that we do this. We do this. Wait, we put this here. So we sort the list regardless in this order. But if this is false, oh, we need this. We need this I in here though. We need this I. So if this is false, we get the first or last. Else, I just like rearranged everything and put it back how it was. We put this, we get the last one. Dot last or default. What is last? What is last or default? What does default mean? Return the last element of a sequence or a default value if the sequence contains no I guess we don't have a default in there. I'm gonna put some notes in here. Let's get this note out of here. Sorts the list by in ascending order. Ascending order. Sorts the list by ascending order. If the newest equipment is set to false, then it picks the lowest level of equipment. Otherwise, it picks the highest level of equipment. And then what is this dog shit? I'm calling everything dog shit lately. Lord Man, Lord Man, I fired up a Stellaris game. It's actually Stellaris in this computer. I don't know why that matters. And in one time in chat, you said that I had a fecal obsession or something. And so I fired up my Stellaris game, and there was like a pre-built race, and I selected them, and I might actually have it on because I posted this on Discord. Let's see if I can bring this over here. The shitbirds, they're the shittiest shits. The shittiest shit. And I was like, this is from like years and years and years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was funny though. Years and years ago, I used them. I don't know if I would have recreated them. Yeah. I think I would have. I don't like how I built them. I would recreate them now if I had known what I know. I'm actually really digging Stellaris. The last time I played it was so long ago. It was like when it first came out, and they all these funky rules about expansion, and I think they've gotten rid of those rules. Like you could only expand to a certain size, and then you had to like basically turn parts of your territory into vassals. And I hated it. I hated that rule. But I think that's gone. Or maybe they made it much bigger because they have this new metric. Well, it's new to me. It's probably been around for 10 years, but where things just cost more as you grow. So let's see here. I'm playing an evil fungoids in that game, and I don't know. Playing evil sometimes is kind of easy because you don't have many choices. I mean, you have choices, but the option that you always pick is "fuck you, kill them," and it kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna kill them, and it kind of gets old. So I was thinking about restarting and trying to create the Federation, from Star Trek. because I'm a big Federation fan. Like, be really friendly and welcome everyone in, except for robots or something. I don't know. Robots seem like a problem. Everyone's going to turn into a robot person. All right, let's test this shit out. So that way we're going to need to test this is we're going to need to have two things with the same equipment level here, or with the same, like, reconnaissance 1, and then we'll put, like, vegetables. Actually, I want it to be before primitive scouting. Fish I already have as a test is a different thing here. So we'll do canned goods, new equipment, reconnaissance, and we're going to do like 5 here. Yeah, I think I think Stellaris is one of the ones where they really have done major changes, because I think I'm not the only person who complained about that expansion thing. I think pretty much everyone hated that when it first came out, because it was pretty small. Like, it was a pretty small area, so you would have pretty much immediately, after an hour of play, have to start busting your people into vassals, and they sucked. The UI for your vassals sucked. So let's run the. Oh, we need to do one more thing on here. So, like, we need, 2 more things. We need to capitalize that I, and then we need to go back to this. And so when this runs, when we click this, we need to, we already have it in there. And so it should run this again with the change we've made. But we need to actually then run this populate equipment here. Are we? Yeah, so then we need to populate the equipment here. We need to pass in a population data. All right. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to run into that problem. Like, because there's 400,000 DLC for it. Look at that. It's $40. The game's from 1950. And it's still $40. Look at all this DLC. I have none of it. Okay, I picked the free one right before I started playing. I wanted to see if there's any free things, but look at all that shit. $360. Holy fuck. Yeah, I've saw on, like, Reddit, people always talking about, like, whoa, megacorps actually was one thing I saw recently. They were like, megacorps are so cool, and I was like, I don't want to pay fucking $20 for. That's a lot of money for a video game. That's not even including the base game at $40. I can get 20% off. Yeah, is there Federations a thing? I should. It's $20. They have that. Well, I don't know if they have it for this, but they have it for Hearts of Iron. So I would bet they have it. Here we go. You can do like a subscription. It's like a monthly fee. $10. It kind of sounds like a lot. Yeah, it's $10 a month, and you get all of them. I don't know. So I've from the beginning of time, I've said I would never pay a subscription for a video game because it seems insane to me. But also, you kind of, there is, like, not for Stellaris and stuff, but for, like, EVE Online, for example, there are, like, server costs and things. So maybe I'm dated. It's a dated concept of doing that. I don't know. I'm not doing that. It just seems foreign to me, even all these years later. This is back when, like, WoW came out. Everyone was suddenly like, hey, we're going to play a... So this works. I mean, I know canned good is not resistant or reconnaissance equipment. So now let's see what happens. We check this. Let's see what happens if we run it. Whoops. If we run it and it's past 4 o'clock, did it work? It's still a canned goods. So this is going to be a problem. I've just did this twice. It looks like you can click on this stuff, but you can't. And that's not, I put a thing over it so you couldn't. So let's get the day go by to 4 a.m. again here. So this works. 160 to 180. I mean, when did that game come out? You know what's crazy about this is oh wow, right, it's getting review bombed. I mean, it's 8 years old. What I was gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say it runs really well on this computer. Hearts of Iron, EU4, even those older ones run only okay on this computer. Like there's a lot of like sitting and waiting time for the game to load or whatever. It still are. It's just like you hit save and it's done. It's done being saved. I'm not that far into it. My game's only like, I only have like 3 colonies or something, 4 colonies, because I just took over a primitive planet. It was medieval times for them. Well, not anymore. Now they're they've been their residents or whatever. But yeah, so I'm not that far along. But EU4 and Hearts of Iron take like a weirdly long. The newer ones, holy shit! Victoria 3, might as well just leave for 30 minutes and come back while it's loading or saving. Victoria 3 is awful with that. CK3 switching mods. 20 minutes later. All right, this worked for some reason perfectly. So that works. We're going to close that issue. Now we got to figure out something, and I was thinking about this morning as well. We're going to figure out, we're going to do the AI thing, but I was thinking, I keep kicking this down the road, and I was thinking maybe it's time to not kick this down the road, because it's one of those things where I know I'm going to have to rewrite stuff, but why am I like setting up my rewrite much larger, each more difficult? Why am I making it yeah, the end game for Victoria 3, I was shocked how bad that was, like, because I finished my Brazil run, and that's the first Paradox game I think I've ever finished, and I forced myself to do it. It was just like fucking have it on the 4 speed, and it's like clunking along. The bugs started appearing where you'd click on stuff and it would be missing things. You know how like on my game sometimes I fuck something up and you click and it's like it throws an error because the timing was off, like my methods weren't in the right order. This is happening to them because their methods were taking so long to run. The other method, like a human could click faster than yeah, it was blowing my mind. So let's see. We have this county AI somewhere, which it doesn't look like I have it open. I don't think we need that open. I think we're done looking at the clock. We might need to come back to that. This looks good. Let's look at our county AI because, whoops, clicking on everything. Because we haven't looked at that in a while. We're going to have to do kind of a lot of work on that also for research. Look at this. What is that? Why is it like that? I've got it wrong. It is, where did I stick that? I think it's called County AI. It's a public class. Yeah, we haven't looked at this for a while. So we have decide building county improvements. What else we got here? Build an improvement. I didn't put any like summaries or anything on any of the stuff. Looks like this needs to go somewhere else. This doesn't go here. This probably, what is that with me not capitalizing? This probably needs to be moved to county improvement data, or like the banker or some shit. There you go. Count duplicate improvements. This, I don't know why this is here either. I think maybe I had county AI meaning something else. Number built improvement. Number built improvement. What does this do? Under construction and count completed. Count duplicate improvements. I don't know, what does this do? Why is this here? What does this do and why is it here? Yeah, I haven't looked at this in ages. Build improvement, I have a feeling should also be moved. Do I still have that on my... Nope, I have nothing on here. I think this needs to be moved somewhere too, even though this is on the top of whatever. So this is the thing that, so what this public class is supposed to be is the AI for the like each faction, you know, would have their faction AI where the faction would pick things faction level, then this is their county level. So, and this is in the county level here when we're going through like the beginning of the day or whatever. So here, the end of day, I think we can probably get rid of this too when we fix this. So like this is for the AI, they're deciding what they should build in this county. And this probably needs a major rewrite, but it currently works. They build stuff according to some logic from 5 months ago, probably a year ago, honestly. And what we need to do, there's two things we need in here. I guess that's it. Well, let's open up Faction AI too and take a look at what it says. Faction AI. So at the faction level, we also need to mess with some research, which it looks like I just commented this out. Yeah, so all we have here is, whoops. I'm listening to Oingo, or it's Oingo Boingo, but it's under the moniker of Boingo because they had some sort of copyright thing. And there's a song called War Again, and it's talking about how you can watch war on TV these days. Man, it sure has changed since then. You can watch war from the person's point of view who's in the war. Early game, the turn of the year calculator is taking a little under 40 seconds. Wow, so it lags that when it hits that. And that's in EU4, right? Yeah. I think I installed that mod when I was playing the Incas or somebody over there. It wasn't the Incas, but it was somebody over there. And it was too much for me. Because I was like, I hadn't played EU4 in a long time, and I'm doing a China run now in EU4, and it's kind of not boring. It's kind of easy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, that's what this song is vaguely talking about, but and I may have told this story before, but I remember going to like an Indian casino uh, during Desert Storm, one of those desert storms, and they had these like walls of TVs that they normally probably played like sports on or something, but it was all war porn. It just straight up war correspondent bombs going off. Um, yeah, whatever. It was one of those. I'm always confused with my timeline doesn't work out. Yeah, so it couldn't have been that. It couldn't have been that because I was still in high school in '91. So it must have been the second one or some other war. Yeah, so 2004. That sounds about right. So it must have been Desert Storm 2. Oh, this is a video game. What was the second one called? Desert Storm 2, the sequel. The Gulf War. I see. They've all blurred together. Anyways, there was some war going on where the U.S. needed some oil, and so we were bombing someplace and attacking someplace. But it was just enduring freedom. Yeah, some 1984 shit right there. Oh. Yeah, so it was very strange going, and me and my girlfriend at the time sat and watched the war porn for a while before I think that was the casino that didn't have any booze too. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, like when the person who's picking that name, the propagandist who's picking that name, don't they feel like this is an obvious bullshit? Like, shouldn't they be embarrassed by it? But I guess I'm overestimating the people's morals. All right, so so this doesn't have honestly it doesn't it's all commented out, and we do need to fix this. So the thing I was talking about that have been putting off is one of the things I want to do is have the different factions have personalities, and the player wouldn't know what personality they're facing, right? So they would like I can't think of a better way to do it. So basically you would have like I'm just gonna make up two right now, like an aggressive attacking personality and a defensive personality, and they would be randomly assigned to all of the different factions that start. And remember, when this game starts, everyone's gonna only have one county. It's set up this way for other testing, and so and we'd have like 10 different personalities of the different leaders. So they would be their leader, the faction leader would have a personality. The player wouldn't know which one they're dealing with. They'd have to figure it out. And then so the reason why I said I can't think of another way to do this is because I want some factions to sit around and build defenses, or stockpile. They want to be a trader. Let's say traders the third one. They're going to start building coffee plantations or whatever, and they'll start producing coffee. And I can't think of a way to not have it distinctly like these different personalities. Like if you have one thing fits all, it's going to get very obvious. Every faction is going to operate very similarly. And I think that's would be kind of lame for the player. Like you'd be like, okay, what happens every time the game starts? Every faction is going to build a food place. Every faction is going to build army. Every faction is going to go to war. If they have, if the faction sees that its neighbor's weak, it's going to go to war. Like you would know every step of the way. And I think one of the things like Dominions, the way they do it is they have the independent nations never go to war. They just sit there. And I don't want to have that. I want to have it so that much more like a paradox game where a small nobody could expand and take over a bunch and the player has to deal with that. So I think we have to do these personalities. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I think we should start writing in like one personality or two personalities and just have the primitive start of that code already in the game so that when we come back around we don't have to be like, oh fuck, we have to have a personality to every single method. We can start kind of like sliding it in there to start beginning and see what issues and I keep kicking this down the road. In fact, I think I have a thing under like county improvements or county AI or some shit. No, maybe not. Factions. Yeah, I do. So it's under factions, even though I have two different things, faction AI and then factions. I wonder why these are differentiated. There's probably some reason. Exactly. So you can have some factions that, like, let's say they're like the peaceful hippies or whatever, and so you would, their way of dealing with you is they would start sending you diplomats all the time, be like, hey man, we just want to hang out and have fun, whatever, and or there could be isolationist where they would just build up their army but they would never attack, or there could be some back to the roaming gangs of bikers that want to, just start become, they don't like their place. They just want to start moving around. And so they could abandon their province and start moving around. Like there's like, I think having these personalities would make it more interesting than having it. Cause you could have some random, you could put like every faction, could build food. Like let's say they check and they say they know they don't have enough food for their county. You could put in some randomness and say, okay, well, this one's going to build fish and this one's going to build vegetables randomly. But I still feel like that's going to be something that's kind of, I don't know. And you could also do it where some factions suck. Like they get the personality, like the dumbass personality. And they're all starving but building guns. Speaking of Victoria 3, like sometimes you take over a country in Victoria 3 and you're like, what the fuck are these? What is the AI doing here? All they've been doing is building barracks and gun places, and they don't even have any food. It's shocking, but you could do that on purpose, and so then that would be like, as the player interacts with them, they would have their spies be like, yeah, this guy's got the dumbass personality. Let's invade him, whatever. And there would have to be stipulations of how they get assigned their personalities. Like if back to the coffee idea, because I was actually thinking about coffee as a resource. Like if you were in Central America in this game, coffee would probably be a major resource for trade. But back to that, like you could have the trader thing only appear. The trader only appear with places that have tradable resources. That sort of personality. But then once again, if you assign it to the leader and the leader gets whacked, the new guy would have a different personality. Or maybe the same one. But the player doesn't know what the personality is. I think that's the key thing. Yeah, so we haven't really worked on that at all. That's a future thing. What is a tradable resource and why would anyone? I mean, I feel like coffee would be an important one. People are going to go to the coffee wars, you know. Uh, all right, so now after all that yammering, actually, this is a perfect time for me to take a break since I've just yammered forever. Let me pause my music you guys can't hear and let me throw out my break timer, and I will be back in less than 5 minutes. All right. Turn on my break timer. Another thing you should consider in trade is how much of a given community's economy is based on trade, especially in the conditions your world starts in. That is going to be a thing. Definitely, we're going to have to think about that because let's say we give a trader personality to one of the faction leaders. What if they can't trade for what they need? You know, like is their whole economy based on that? And then if it is, so one of the things that I've thought about a lot that this is going to be weird is oceans. Because there's only going to be a little bit of ocean, but you could trade a lot more along the coast, and that gives like a distinct advantage to start in Portland and take over this, so you can go on the coast. But if you're going to start over here, that means am I need to put rivers in? Probably, you know. But anyways, with trade, that is going to be a thing. Like because I'm going to have the traders moving around on the map. That's the plan, at least I hope. And they're going to have you're going to stockpile goods. Yeah, that's definitely going to have to be a it's gonna be a problem. Anyways, what are we doing here? We are going to so with all of that yammering, do we want to start assigning stuff? We probably this is not what we're working on, but maybe we need to move that forward. Yeah, exactly. And I want to balance it. So I think at the beginning, definitely, I'm not going to have any boats for like that will be some DLC. We can charge $15 for it. Boats. We could do the Shadow Empire style where you charge that and then you don't allow the player to have boats for some reason. Naval vessels for some bizarre reason. I wonder if they ever fix that. So $15 per boat. So should we do this? We should probably let's do this. Let's put like the most minimal thing in. Let's put maybe we don't want to do this right now. I don't want to get too sidetracked because I always have these giant things here. What am I looking for? This is actually what I'm looking for. Where do I have this? It's coming up. Research is kind of part of this. That's why this is up here. So let's say what we got to do right now. Right now, what we got to decide is just a simple binary choice. Use their newest stuff or use their older stuff to equip your heroes. And this would be, remember, this is going to be when they're also, if we go back to here, the stuff that they're equipped with. Oh, did I just find a bug? No. Good. The stuff that they're equipped with is what their subordinates are also going to try to equip the same equipment they have. So this is not just for the inventory of the leader. The subordinates will try to equip the same gear that the leader has. So this is kind of setting our whole army up. So just a binary choice. So we could. And then we would assign this to the faction leader. So we would put in, let's just do like a really simple one. So we'll create a thing. I thought I alphabetized this. Is this alpha A B C D H I J K L M N O P? Okay, this is alphabetized. Personality. Public enum. Hero. Personality. And then I'll move this now that I put the thing in there. We're going to have this, we'll have like the, like a general one. This is, so now I'm thinking like, I don't think this is going to affect. We'll just put in, defensive and offensive. Except if you have an offensive personality, that that means something else. Let's move this to alphabetical here. H, I, element O, P, Q, R, S, T. There we go. So we might rename this stuff, but that we'll have this in here, and then we need to do under population. So we're also back to this other thing with the constructor. I don't think we need this constructor. I mean, there's a point where we do run into things that I've written in the past that do need to be updated, but it's easier to not do it right now. What we can do is move those things over and put all those things in the creator in this over to there. All of these things could be in the constructor. Man, I wish I could pull up that code. I don't know where it is that Wind wrote where he was doing this, and I was so confused by it. And now I understand why he did it in the constructor. I didn't understand why he was doing that. And I was like, but like I was saying yesterday, it's in the name. It's called a constructor because it constructs the thing. Let's not fuck with that right now. I did put it on my list. Oh no, I didn't. I put a different thing. Do I not have a thing that's population? Population UI. I think, it says I have a population in here. Did I go past it? That doesn't help me. Oh, maybe it said county population. We were talking about this with chat one day. Is like, is maintaining this list more work than actually just working on the thing? I don't know where it went. Oh, it's way at the very end right here. Change looks to attractiveness. We want to remove constructor in population data. Now it does this new thing where we create a blank one. And then we probably want to make this, am I doing 3 or 1 these days? I'm seeing if I can move it, because this is a pain in my ass every time I do this. Yeah, drag it a little bit, and you gotta drag it over, and you gotta go like this. Sometimes it will be nice, and it will let you do. Not this time. It's probably because I'm using, we'll put this above here. Firefox. They deliberately make the internet suck for Firefox users in an attempt to make you use Chrome. But it's like, at this point, Chrome just runs everything, so why would we want to join the Google sphere? I don't know. Research, storage. Where storage is such a pain in the ass. What is this merge domain doing down here? Do I have two merge domain? It should be over here somewhere. I think that's actually about where we want it. So we're doing 1 or 3. It looks like we're doing 1s. See, this will let you. So this should probably be around here. Go back to this population. So there was that Elon Musk was told everyone, whatever federal employees, they had to write what they did last week, or they get fired, or they whatever. And this is back to the thing where I was saying, is it more time to maintain this list than just do this stuff? But the problem is my memory's so terrible. But at my job, Slater, how's it going? At my job for a while, they wanted me to keep track of like every day what I did, and then at the end of the week, I emailed the list to the owner of the company. He was just suddenly out of the blue one day. He just came over and came into my office, and he was just like, "Hey, could you keep a list of the things you do?" I was like, "Okay." It was very strange. Someone must have told, like, said, "What does Josh do?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know." The email, if you want to tell them and deal. Oh, you can do it. Anybody can email it. I didn't know that. I assumed it was some sort of like internal group where you couldn't email it from outside the company type thing. Yeah, everyone should definitely send them what they're doing. So what I did when, in my case, at the beginning of the day, I would write a list of things that I may do. So it's basically like 80% bullshit. And then if something unusual happened, like, not unusual, noteworthy happened, I would add that to the list. And then at the end of the week before I sent it, I would spend like an hour going through each day and making sure it sounded like I was doing more than I was. Because at that time, there was a lot of downtime, and I used to read that Saturday breakfast cereal comic. I think that's what it's called. Cereal comic something. Saturday, I forget what it was called. It's this guy, I think. Yeah, it's this guy. Yeah, I used to just sit and read these all day long. Because I was just waiting for people, not all day long, but for a large quantity of time. And man, so it was. I'm getting it's funny that you guys are talking about that, about the shape of my turds. I'm getting a smart toilet installed at some point, and I was joking with my friends about like what it's supposed to like. Fuck. What it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to say, like, is it tasting my shit for me? And be like, you have cancer. No, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So it was actually, and it was kind of demoralizing to a point. I emailed it. I would email it to him, then he would come over into my office, and we would go over the stuff. And he did it for like a couple of weeks, and then he just lost interest in it, which was kind of the thing he would do a lot. He would forget about stuff all the time. So he would say like, "Hey, can you do this?" And if you did it, a lot of times he'd ask you like, "What is this?" Like later. So for that, that only lasted a couple of weeks before he lost interest. So that's the thing that's crazy is all of these smart devices, they are like easily hacked. Because what am I going to update? I probably need an app for my phone for this fucking toilet. I'm changing my music. You guys can't hear it, but purchase history. I'm gonna pull up this toilet that I bought. Oh, it's got to text me to log in to show with a toilet that I bought. I shouldn't show it because then you guys are gonna hack it. There was something I just read about where somebody had a backdoor and something like a toilet. They wrote it in. I have to do all this on my other monitor so you can't see my credit card number and stuff. Does this have anything? It's an $800 toilet. It's out of control. That was actually my first question about it, was what happens if the power's out? How do I use the toilet if the power's out? Look at this fucking crazy thing. That's the important part, is the cleaning function. Why was I bringing this up? Oh, because as if it does look ridiculous. There was one that I don't think it was at Home Depot, that I was shocked was the way it looked. So this is similar. Well, that one's crazy looking too. Right? Like, why did they make it? I know they're trying to make it like sleek, but look at this crazy ass thing. It's square, and I was joking to my friend. I was like, but my ass isn't square. I mean, obviously they were, whatever. But they're going heavy. The thing, none of these things have reviews either. So that means that I'm spending $800 on a toilet that's gonna break in like 2 weeks. And I mean, if it like you said, it's gonna be some crazy. It's gonna be a break because it needs an update or something. Look at this one. It's got like a control panel with a human on it. Oh, this one does taste your shit for you. So I have well, that toilet's gone because of this whole remodel of broken flooding and all that. But I had a bidet on mine. Right, exactly. Huh. But so I had a bidet on my last toilet that was similar to this thing, actually. It was, and so the cost of that and the toilet was $800. So I was like, well, what happens if I go crazy? I'm already spent $800 with a bidet and the toilet, so why don't I go crazy and get some smart toilet that will break? And this thing's gonna be made of fucking just broken, like the easily broken plastic. Well, I'm just setting myself up so I can complain about it later, I guess. That's my plan here. All right. Are there smart toilets for pets? That's a good question. Smart litter box. Oh, there are. Did you hear about this? So there was this smart toilet for pets, and it was killing the cats. The door would come down and squish him. Yeah, so you can get it yourself. Yeah, I don't know what brand it was or whatever, but they would get stuck in there and they would die. It would kill them. My cat refuses to use a litter box. He will only go outside. Because it's fine with me. All right, so we put in these two things. We got the two things: offensive, defensive. Well, that's the opposite of what that said. I'm going to put a note on this. These are just prototype personalities, especially because offensive personality means something different. So that when we generate this, we're going to have to have this we're going to have it in the population data. It's not going to apply this to, you know what? Oh, did you get auto-modded? I was saying this yesterday that Um, Sex-based term. It says shitbox is a sex-based term. there's some kink that I don't know about. Or if I'm, I can guess. I can use context. So let's put this in here. So what I think what we'll do, we actually need another one. So then we'll have player in here. It will default to player. Because the player, if it's a player thing, we're not gonna assign one. So we'll put this, I'm gonna put a note in here. Player only should apply to the current faction leader. So we probably will have like because I do want to have, you know, like the possibility of your heir killing you. Then you play as your heir, you know. Maybe that'll just be game over. I haven't decided. So we'll have that. We'll go to county population generation, which it probably doesn't need the county anymore on it. Should we just rename that while we're here? Because it's just population generation. Let's just rename it while we're here. Population generation. We're going to copy that. We're going to close this thing. We're going to go over to here. And we're going to go, I don't know where it is. We're going to go to here. We're going to rename this. I hope that didn't fuck up where it was attached to. We're going to, did it close? Looks like it closed, which is what we want. The Twitch thing is kind of interesting on what it bans. A lot of it I think is good because the things it says it's to stop, and it makes sense is to stop people from harassing the poor streamers, you know. But there are some things that it definitely has some weird shit going on. Let's run this now that I renamed this just to make sure that I didn't seriously break something. All right. I guess we'll click around a little bit. Perfect. So then in here, we're going to, well, first we need to add into the population data. We need to put in, we have hero type. Probably underneath here, we should do, we can put actually an export group right here just to keep some organization going. Hero is fine. And then underneath here, we will go, we'll put an export on this because you need to save it. We're going to go all enums, hero personality, and we're going to say hero personality. We're going to do that. So now we have a hero personality we can assign. Then back to our new thing called population generation, we'll do create faction leaders. This is where we're going to assign, how are we doing this? Generate population. So we have some sort of bool here that says it's a hero. Probably what we should do Do we have any sort of distinguishing thing that says this is the player's hero? We might not. And that's going to be, when we add, well, the whole multiplayer thing is going to be very difficult, but I don't think we do, because it never mattered at this point. This is the first time it's mattered. So what we can do though here, look at how I put this thing up here. This whole thing is just a mess. What we can just do here is put in, we'll put in, oh, I didn't put it in the constructor. So down here, the stupid constructor that we're going to get rid of. Where did I put this thing? Under heroes, something or rather. Hero type is where I put it. All enums, hero personality, hero, it's already on my clipboard. We'll save that. Then down here, we'll do this equals hero personality. So now we have in the constructor, we'll get these errors, we'll write a new thing that just randomly picks between the two. And except at the very end, we'll have to set, like, is this if this is the player thing. So we'll make a new method here. I don't know. We'll just put it right here. Private generate hero personalities. Personalities. That really looks like that's wrong. Personalities. I wish I could spell the T's. I guess it's spelled right. Monglo, how's it going? How has your week been? I saw you were streaming, but I didn't have a chance to drop by. I think it was yesterday. Day before? I don't know. So this is just going to be a random thing here. We're going to go, I have a random thing already in here. We're going to need an int. And this is going to be random personality. Whoops, that's an equal sign. And we're going to go random next. 1 to 2. We could do, actually, let's do this. All enums, I think we can get length on here. Or count or something. Maybe not. Maybe we can't do that with enums. Yeah, we can't. So let's put 2 in here. With networking things, eventually I gotta jump back into doing the multiplayer tutorials again, because I gotta have I'm gonna do multiplayer on this. I keep kicking it back, and the farther I push it back, the more of a pain it's gonna be to implement it. Oh, that's pretty awesome. You got the equipping of weapons. How do I get the length of get length of enums? Total number of items defined in an enum. You can use the static method get names, which returns an array representing the names of the... Oh. I guess let's do this. I didn't even put in C# in there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's gonna be quite a challenge when that happens. And I did mess around with it a bit, and I got to the point where I could pass variables around, and then I lost interest. Not in this game, but in like a test. A test. I was making a. They always want to make a lobby. I forget what the thing that was annoying me with it. Oh, I remember now. I didn't want it to use. So basically, the way it was, all the tutorials have it is that you have a little server that you connect to, like this way, and then the data is passed back and forth through that server. And I wanted it to, you connect to the little server because you have your lobby, of all the different people, and they put up their games, let's say, and then you pick your game and you put in the password and you join that game or whatever. But it was all passing the data through that server back and forth, and I wanted it, once they connected, to get off that server, get away from that server, and just connect to each other. And that's where I was getting frustrated, and it's just because I didn't know enough. Visibility filtering, you mean like so that some people can see whatever, an invisible person, and some people cannot see that invisible person? It's whatever. They can see. Yeah, so that's part of it. It was the passing. Once you're connected, like, how do you tell it, don't connect through the server, connect to each other directly, you know? And then I should have just kept working on it, but there aren't as many tutorials on that as I'd hoped. What we're doing? We're doing this random thing. Oh yeah, we were getting the length. We should probably could put this. What we probably could do is actually put this in here. Now I have a get random enum value. This works, except I don't want it to. I don't want it to get the first one. I wonder where I use this. The answer would be nowhere. We could actually use this, right? Well, I don't need that. We can use this. It's public static. Right here. I didn't want the whole line. I didn't want the whole line. We're gonna need all enums here, though. And then we're gonna pass in all enums hero personality. And then, what are we looking for? Do enums have an internal order, considering you can define values to the... They do, so that's, they have their thing. What am I doing with this? I wonder where this came from. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. I gotta go, this goes here. Maybe? No. Why is it off? There we go. So this will get it, though. This will include the player one. So what we want to do is, if it's just a class. It's just one giant class. And in fact, I moved some of them out of here, but now I can't remember where I put them. That's the problem, is I can never remember where I put shit. And then I have to search for it. I have all sorts of problems with my memory. My memory is dog shit. Let's do this. Random personality. Whoops. Typos all over the place. Plus random personality. And let's do this. Then give them the folder enums and one file each. That could be interesting. I was talking about yesterday, I think I was talking about, I don't like some of how I organize this because with my scripts, because I can like never find shit because I can't remember. Like if it's, I'm 100% sure this is a public class, then I can't find it in here and then say, oh, it's not a public class. So you made a folder with all the items. Because instead of me having to scroll through this, looking for them, these are in alphabetical order, I hope. E, F, G, H. I think. Yeah, I'm always trying to, I do the same thing where, yeah, exactly. I have the same exact thing going where I'm like, this will be better for future self, and then it doesn't. It's not better. This is going to give us a bazillion of these random personalities, but let's put this where they go. So I think where this needs to be is, where are you? Needs, starvation, skills, preferred, interests. Did I save that thing? I did. Hero personality, hero type. So this is pretty early on. Hero type. Generate hero personalities. Oh, I'm not returning anything, but that can be fixed. That can be fixed. We're going to return an int here. And then we want to return this. And then, man, I was thinking back when this used to scare me. Returning things used to scare me. I do the same exact thing. I often put like little jokes in there too for my, like, what is this dumb shit, you know? I'll put that in my code, and I worry that someone will like want to help me out on the project, or someone will think someone else is helping me out on the project, and they'll think that that's a note to them. Like I'm some terrible for just going through the code. Hey, you fucking moron! What is this? Yeah, that's my fear. But they're all messages to me, so that's how it works. So with this there, we actually, whoops. We need this to, we need to convert this to an enum, and I don't think I can just cast it. I may be able to. Oh, I can. All right, then put this down under here. Whoa. I guess I could have done that. You know, I just re-looked at some code here that I haven't looked at in probably a year, and I just went through and like, what does this do and why is this here? Like, it shouldn't be. I've learned a lot in the past year. Well, I hope so. Yeah, and like all this stuff needs to be moved and rearranged because we're about to start working on this. So I like was opening it to look at it. We're getting closer and closer to working on this. It's just a little bit. It just needs to be like, one more method needs to be added. All right, let's run this shit just for a quick test here and see what happens. And then we need to exclude, though. We're going to put a loop in there, an endless loop. And then this happens to me a lot where I'll find some code and I'll be like, wait, this is done wrong. And I'll fix it and then I'll run it and it will break everything. So we are getting some zeros in here. So what we need to do here is like if... I think this is going to break, though. I think this is going to be bad. If random personality is equal to 0, I think this is bad. We do it again. This is going to create an endless loop of garbage. Okay, that didn't implode, but it also didn't work. Actually. Let's do this again. The random... So I think we were talking about this before. This is one of those things which I wouldn't have ever done when I was younger? Earlier in my coding thing. Oh, we're still getting zeros. I would have never done loops like this. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to make this better. But I noticed that loops are not as... I'm the only one... What is wrong with this? I'm the only one who's scared of endless loops. You don't return its results. What is this do thing? See, like while? Oh, I hate while. Do they? I'm glad, because I am always like endless loops like while and stuff, and every time I put while in my code, the game grinds to a halt, and that's the end of it. Okay, so what is this do thing? Do this while this. Let's put this in here, and then we'll figure it out. Whoops. Let's see what this does. So we don't want to see any zeros. I also don't think ChatGPT is very good with whiles, actually, either. When I was messing around with the whatchamacallit, randomly generated maps, it would often choke everything up. So I don't see any zeros in there, so that's right. That's probably the right number of people, too. So what is this do thing? Do while. Does it tell us? It uses a do while loop to keep... What is this do while thing? What is this do while thing? So I had to do the same exact thing where it would try... I think we talked about this, where it would generate the map and it would blow it away if there was no path, and then it... But it would give up after a while, and because I think what was happening is occasionally it would just generate shitty, broken maps for... Yeah, I remember what it was. So I have it so you can put in parameters for like the amount of like obstacles, and if you put the parameters too high, the chance of getting a working map was really low. So it would do it forever, and I needed I needed to have a thing where like give up if this you know, because it would sit there choked. All right, the do block executes at least once, generating a random personality. The while is checked after the code inside the do block. Okay. If the loop repeats itself, generating a new value. Why use do while instead of while? Does this thing know what it's talking about? If you used a while loop instead, you'd have to assign random personality before the loop to avoid. Let's see what a human says about this. C# do while. I just like to check its work. Whoops. How do I write a do while loop in C? Let's try to find something that's a little newer here. I mean, I know this is some basic shit, but what do we got here? I actually really like writing. It's painful. I liked writing the random map thing, and I can't wait to get back to it if I ever work on that. Are they uncommon? I don't. The do while loop is the same as while loop, except that it executes the code block at least once. Do while loop starts with the do keyword followed by a code block and a Boolean expression with the while keyword. Okay. I was just making sure I understood what it said by looking at this code that I know works. The do while loop stops execution, exits when a Boolean condition equivalent to false. Okay, so it's equivalent, yeah. Because the while condition specified at the end of the block, it's certainly certain to execute the, okay. Do it as a while. Yeah, I'm petrified of while things. I think I have like 3 of them in all of my code. I wanted to see if this try it worked, because last time I ran one of these, it didn't work. Like I don't think it was a different website. Yeah, it was the Microsoft website. It just croaked. It just straight up just died. Well, this seems to work, so let's, this was written by ChatGPT. I like to put these notes in there because later I'll be like, did I write this? What is this? What the hell is do? So we got that. That will give us the random personality, not the player personality. So then we need to go back and on the player one, at the end of this, we just need to assign it. I'm just going to do it somewhere. Where is this thing? I'm surprised we don't have a thing that says something about see, and then back to the multiplayer thing. When I write this, I'm basically screwing myself, my future self, when we get to multiplayer. Players specific things. Yes. And then we're just going to go we're going to go globals. We're going to do this the faction leader dot hero personality. Did I make that thing private? No. So I mean, people often ask me this, Munglo, how long into your game is done? I'm curious. I did make this private. And forever, that's how I always say 5 years, but it never changes. It's always 5 years. All right, so that's what we just need this here. This would just eventually this will assign other things, but currently we just need this here. So one of the things could be, because I'm old, I guess, is I remember when games would be released and then they would be, that's it, like they were done, you know, like that you could finish a game. And I feel like occasionally in this day and age, you'll see a game that the developers are like, we're done with this game. Like, we're done releasing updates and bug patches and shit. And then it kind of like the community's always kind of like, ew, you've abandoned this game. But there has to be a point where they're done. You know what I mean? What is going on here? What do you want? What the fuck is that? I don't want that. And there has to be a point where a game is done. You know what I mean? Like there has to be, and it's so that the person can, the development, let's say it's one, especially if it's one person, because they need to be able to move on to a new project and they can't spend all of their time, you know, if it's like Rockstar, they could probably perpetually support a video game with the income from newer games, but yeah. Yeah, perpetual support, yeah. Yeah, Terraria, I think I just read that they were going to work on that some more. They said they thought they were done, but it turns out they weren't. And I think, isn't that game like long? Like, hasn't that game been around forever? I know it's like beloved. I don't think I've ever played it. I played that other one that came around about the same time-ish as it. So this should now assign this. That should be fine. So we did all of that to get to the point where when we're going to start implementing these things for real, we'll have kind of like an a sort of we'll be able to like think about the way this is going to work in the future. And so I was like dreading doing this, but it actually is like it was an hour. And we do need to move this stuff around. So on the faction level, we'll probably, this will also, I know this is all common now, but we can use that stuff to like assign our research. We can assign it differently depending on their personality. And so that's I'm glad that we did this now instead of just kicking it, because I almost was like, fuck it, we'll do it later. But I think this will help us for the future when we have real ones that really mean something. Yeah, and there is a point, like I'm going to release my game for free, but there is a point where you do have to like think about the like I can't survive off of this. Obviously, I have a day job. If I didn't have a day job, I'm not going to be able to survive off. I would have to charge for the game, and I would have to survive off it. And you can't support it forever. And I know we were talking about Paradox games earlier, and I guess CK2, does it still get support? I don't think it does, because they released the new one. I guess that's the way you do it now, is you release the new version of the game and you can stop supporting the old game. There was that. I've been thinking about this game a lot. It's Stellar Empire. No, I don't remember what it's called. Otherwise, I'd look it up. But he released a sequel and then he stopped working on the old one. No, he kept doing some small updates on the old one. When a player wants to equip an item, then it's called into the game rules for a player request Oh my god, I haven't even thought about stuff like that yet. About like how it's gonna. Man. Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. I need to stop kicking that down the road. Probably, in fact, I'm gonna move it up. But I don't know how much of a fool I want to look like on the internet. So like I need to uh, do a bunch of tutorials before I start streaming it. Probably, actually. Yeah, let's move this up. I'm now inspired by your this conversation. Like I do need to like stop pushing this back because it's like even this saving and loading is gonna change. We gotta fix that, definitely. Actually, we're gonna delete this because it's not a. I have these set up as issues. I don't think you can unissue something. Uh, the fuck am I doing here? I think you can only delete them. So let's delete this. Let's add a new one. I've changed how I do things. That thing's so old. Multiplayer. No, wait. I didn't want it to be an issue. Can you unissue this thing? Turn it into a not an issue? I don't think you can. Oh my god, I gotta do tutorials on RPC too. Like I understand the basics of it, like how it works from a high level, but I need to understand how other things, like the whole how it all works. You know, the basics. I know the most basics of it. Uh, do the player have an avatar equipped too? Do they have the item? Then what spawns in the item mounts to the player? Have you made a multiplayer game before? And then triggered to automatically replicate. Yeah. I'm a huge getter setter fan, even though they've been kind of screwing me sometimes. I feel like I'm gonna be doing a lot of getter setters if this thing's set, send it across. But other clients need to get relevant info so the meshes. Man, yeah. All right. I don't think you can unissue this. So let's see with this new issue thing. Let's go multiplayer. Let's look at what I'm clicking on here. Create a draft. That's what we wanted. There we go. Now, we were at. So I think part of the saving and loading is actually going to be. Let's do this. Let's move this up to here. And we're kind of working on that right now, but not really. Let's do that. Do I have a multiplayer thing over here now? It's probably just an empty one. Oh, right. I forgot about the multiplayer synchronizing node. Did I stream some of that? So Joker's a person who comes into chat, and I remember him talking to me about that. I must have streamed. Maybe we were just looking at it in a stream. I totally forgot about all the different nodes. Oh man, yeah, I need to go back. I don't think I have a thing for multiplayer because it was more a concept than a. So we're gonna need like a menu, you know, like a lobby, like the whole thing's gonna be. And I should probably once again do it as the simplest way possible, like use Steam or something. and then expand from there, like not set myself up for failure. Because I think that's what I was doing when I gave up before. I didn't like give up. All right, I just kicked it off to bed down the road. I was setting myself up to try to make it too complicated off the bat. I need the simplest multiplayer that there is. Okay, yeah, it's not on here. So this is going to go after County AI. Oh, I don't think you can add them in the middle, though. Yeah, you can't. We're going to go over here. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Oh shit, we're gonna have to like set up spawn points. Here, what are the two things? We're gonna need a menu, lobby, spawn points. We're gonna need 2 spawn points for testing. Currently, there's only 1 spawn point. But what we'll probably do is we'll turn this thing into a spawn point, even though that's right next door. Maybe we'll turn this one into like a test spawn site or spawn point. Keep moving this over here. So are you using Godot resources? I think I asked you this the other day and I've already forgotten. Are you using Godot resources or are you using C class stuff or nodes? What are they called in Unity? They're not nodes. I was messing around with a bunch of stuff and then what are the base things called? I can't even remember. I was not scriptable objects, but I was messing around. What the fuck are they called in Unity? I cannot remember. So in Unity, they have like they're not scenes like they are on Godot, but with the equivalent of a scene in Unity. I was messing around with all these things, trying all these things, and then I found someone talking about like just make it a whatever it's called. Prefab? Yeah, like a prefab. And I just attached everything to a prefab and it was really easy. And so then when I came over to Godot, I've been attaching things to nodes like similarly. And sometimes that works really well and sometimes it does not. So the token where I call them tokens where the player's moving around is like things attached to that. Same with the counties actually too. Like these little things are like nodes that have everything like kind of attached to it. Like in the script. And I don't know if that's going to screw me later, but we'll find out. I mean, it would be brutal to go back to Unity at this point. Okay, we're almost here. We're right here, actually. We're not going to do storage. Fuck storage. It's going to go to here. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, though. An avatar-based scene. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I will be back in less than 5 minutes. I'm going to throw out my break timer. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And I let my cat in. It's going to start crying any second. Because that's what it does. It cries. When I didn't make its bed, but yeah, I'm sleeping on my couch right now because of the construction, and it likes to sleep on the blankets that I have, and it cries if I don't make the blankets the way it likes, because that's what it does. All right, let me start my music, which you guys can't hear. And here we go. What were we doing? This is fine. So then from here, now that we have that in, I'm going to put a note on this thing, actually. The new hero personalities. Excuse me. Excuse me there. We should... so we did all of this just for the equipment. The equipment thing. So what we'll do... We're going to need a public void here. Decide equipment. Decide if hero uses newest equipment. I guess we're passing in counties. Are we really? We did there. I mean, I guess we have to because this is a county-based thing. So this is going to be decided daily? Probably not. We'll probably do this weekly. I think weekly will be... Now, I can't remember, and I think I closed the clock, but it's over here. Does the weekly one fire this first week? Let's look at the clock here. Because I think that was a thing. I think it fires right off the bat, which is what we wanted to do in this case. See, here's the thing where I was looking in public classes when weekly event is 7. I think it does. I think it does fire. I saw a thing here that I can uncomment. I think it fires at the the first time it runs. We'll know right now. Like right at the beginning. Because we need to fire at the beginning, because otherwise there would be a week where they wouldn't know. Well, it defaults to false, actually, but we want it, a player, well, we need to comment that shit out. A player could take advantage of that. It would happen at 3 a.m., actually. Yeah, it does. Okay, so it happens at the beginning, too. Fires once a week and on the first day of the game. There we go. We'll have that in there so I don't have to do that again. What were we going to take out of here? We were going to take out population generation. We're going to get rid of this. And there was something else firing away here that I don't think we need. That one we just got rid of. This is, we don't need that. Was removed. We don't need that right now. There, that's good enough for now. So back to this. So we will... I guess we'll put a switch in here. This is going to be a bunch of switches. And of course, I got to look up how to write a switch every single goddamn time. You know, the way I wanted to do this was not with this switch. I'm just remembering right now how I wanted to do this. How did that work? How I wanted to do it was, I guess it would be a resource with the different personalities in there. So it wouldn't be within an enum. You would assign the personality, and then it would run the stuff that that personality did. So I originally was not dependency injection. What was the other thing called? Interfaces? It was interfaces. So the resource would replace that. So what we would do, yeah, resources replace the interfaces, basically, I think, is what's been happening. Every time I try to do an interface, because I'm like, oh, I'm getting to learn some new C# thing, I end up using a resource instead because of internal Godot things. Yeah, it wouldn't let me do certain stuff because of the, whatever. So if we made a resource of the different personalities, we would have a method in the resource, and it would just run that method. But I don't think, so with an interface, you can do different, well, let's do a test here. Let's find a resource and break it. Here we go, good data. I don't think you can have, you can't. They got to be the same inside of them. Yeah, I wanted to do an interface then. I think I got to do an interface because I think, let's look at an interface example. C# interface example. So there, we'd have this interface. I think we just did a bunch of stuff needlessly, but that's okay. I do that all the time. So this would be, yeah, this would be class pig. And so class pig is an iAnimal, so it has to have, iAnimal has to have animal sound. It has to have that. You can't make this pig without animal sound. So then an animal sound, this pig, what does, it's running this animal sound thing, which just, whatever, it says that. But if we had another one that was a cow, you could have a different, it still needs to be called animal sound, but you could have it do different shit. But it has to be in there. But oh yeah, I was going to say, then I think that's where the abstract classes come in. So then you would, if you had one that was like half-assed, you can abstract class it. So maybe we do get to use an interface right here. And we'd have the different personalities do different things. Instead of a switch that's hitting the enums and going down, we would just have these abstract classes, or sorry, not abstract classes. We would just have interfaces. And interfaces is a completely abstract class. What? All right. No. Okay. I'm misunderstanding abstract class. Is with another way to, all right, what the fuck is abstraction? Data abstraction is the process of hiding certain details and showing only essential information to the user. Abstraction can be achieved with either abstract classes or interfaces. The abstract keyword is used for classes and method. Abstract class is a restricted class that cannot be used to create objects. To access it must be inherited from another class. It can only be used in an abstract class. So if we're going to do personalities that are going to apply to each type of person, which we are, so every time I do this, I say, let's try one of these. We run into something where either I'm not knowledgeable enough or it's a Godot doesn't like it for some reason. But I think we should try this. We only have 2. And when we looked at that code, I forget what game it was now, but we looked at their code and they had a bunch of these things and it made sense of interfaces. So wait, this says it's not possible to create an object of the animal class. Oh, right, because the animal class is oh, wait, that says, wait, we're looking at, go back here. We do the interface. All right, and so in the interface, all of the code is in this one interface. Well, they're putting it in here. So let's try this. Because I think that's what would, so then we would just assign the interface in the population generation. We wouldn't set that bool or enum at all. I know I've done this like 7 times, but let's do it again. One day I will understand or not understand. So let's make a new folder here for interfaces. I've done this so many times. I know I have. Interfaces. And then let's do a new one. This is going to be called Hero Personalities. And then we're going to open this up. And then we're going to do something I've never done before. Well, no, I have done this before, but it didn't work. We're not going to use a node. We're just going to go interface Hero Personalities. I guess we don't need this crap. And then in this, we're going to put, oh, there's my cat crying. We're going to put what's required. So what's going to be required, because we're going to need this for the county thing, is equipment assignment. Is this it has a, I almost said a baby first letter. A lowercase first letter, equipment assignment. Okay, so I have this equipment assignment. And then do I put this in the same thing? I feel like I should make a new script here. But let's put this here and see what happens. Class offensive Hero personality. Then we do this. And it's mad because I don't have an equipment assignment thing. You know what's kind of interesting in this example is that these are all lowercase. I wonder if it's because it's an interface that they do that. Let's look at Microsoft's example. Oh my God, this one doesn't have it. I'm going to go to the capital thing. My cat has come down into the basement to join me. He doesn't like it down here. He's obsessed with stuff. I had a light bulb burn out over there, and he's now staring at where it burned out. It must be doing something I can't see. Example interface. So they have a capital. Let's go back to our standardization here, which is this. So then we need in here, wonder why they put this whole thing in here. They call this implementation class, which happens to start with an I. So this is the thing. I don't want it to be called offensive. Maybe I need to put offensive personality to make it less confusing. And then in here, we would go equipment. I bet you if I do this, I can hit this. Okay, I was wrong. Is there a better example? I don't like this example for some reason. So it looks like I should just be able to put void equipment. See, it's not up there though. It's not. What is this saying? Oh, do I have to explicitly do that? Maybe I have to explicitly do that. I hero personality. What? Hey there. I hero. Oh, I do have to explicitly do that. Oh, and then it did it. Okay. I'm gonna move this over here real quick. I kind of get excited when I get to learn something new. My beard's way too long. I need to shave this shit. All right, so this says interface, and this is the name of the interfaces. And then we put what's required in those interfaces, which is equipment assignment, which is we're going to put a GD print in here. And it's going to say offensive personality. Then we're going to do that. And then I think what I do is copy this, put this, and we say defensive. And now we have two different ones. Is this going to work how I think it works? How are they doing this? So in main, what is this? Object. Implementation class. Okay, all right. So, yeah. So what we'll do... Oh, did I leave it the same? I definitely should, thank you. Defensive. That'd be like, why isn't it working? Because you didn't change the GD print. Thank you. So I think what we do is let's go back to our population data. Let's jump to the very top just so I can find it easy. And we go like a public I hero personality called I hero. I think they're always capital though. I don't know. Hero personality. I think I need this I in here. I don't know. What does this thing look like? Well, they just have a... All right, it's a variable, so we'll go with the like this. And then we'll go like this. What's your problem? You can't do that. This is an interesting thing. Inconsistent accessibility field type is less accessible than field population data I is less accessible. What? What? What does it suggest? Oh, generate a constructor. I mean, we have it. We'll add it to the constructor. This stupid constructor. Maybe that was the reason was we couldn't put these. Whoops, actually, we need this. We couldn't put these inside of a resource. I think that was the problem. This should actually go here. I think that was the reason, even though it seems to be okay right now. Okay, so that's in the constructor. I'm doing something wrong. Obviously. What I want to do is assign these things to this. How do I assign a, let's ask ChatGPT. Like here it is, they're just assigning it with a new one. Maybe I have to do that, but I don't know what it is at this point. Like it's, we needed to pick. We needed like the random thing to happen. We'll copy this. We'll copy this whole thing. How do I assign an interface to a variable? All right, so it says you cannot export an interface using Godot's export attribute. Is that really what this is the problem with? I don't believe it. No, there's something else going on here. I mean, that could be an additional problem. Ensure I personality. I already have that. I already have this defined. What is a concrete class? Oh, right. This happened before. And we did this. Okay, so look, they put Brave on there. So where's my thing that I'm fucking with? Where'd it go? Is it right in front of my face? Here it is. It is right in front of my face. I wonder if it's because it's hanging out in there. Public partial. Okay, so we have this public. Oh, I didn't put public on here. I just put an interface. Did that do anything to our problem? Oh, we don't have namespaces in here either. Namespace, player space. Let's give it a second to figure out what I just did. All right, so the public thing didn't affect. See, these don't have public here, but maybe they need to be public. See, what I want to do is be able to assign this their personality. even if it's a new one, the thing is, if we generate, I don't think we can do like, we need to do like a new, oh, you fixed yourself when I put a space there? What? You're fine with that space there? That's strange. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm going to save this and then maybe it will. Do you put a space behind these things? Oh, so they're saying put the okay, so then let's go back to this. We did this exact same thing. What the fuck is this though? Come on, that space can't be right. Give us back our. Well, now you're fine with it. Okay, so back to this interface. These things, okay, so this void without the public there is obviously private. So that must be what that is. Oh, we don't do that though, huh? Okay, don't fuck with that, it says. So I don't know, it stopped giving us that error. It was that. So then in here, we need to add in, and I'm just gonna put like how do I do that? Where are you getting this personality from though? I think actually here is this is what I need. Yeah, new implementation class. So we go here, we would go new get the fuck out of here. New offensive personality. Now I'm doing it wrong. Like that? Okay, and then like we'll do this one over. I did something weird. I hit some hotkey and now. Good God, what the fuck is that? Get out of here. I don't even want to know what that is. We'll put this here. Oh God, what have I done now? All right, we just need this. We need that comma too. But we're gonna do a new defensive personality here. Okay, so this is not supported. But you have to be able to export it to save the data in a resource. So one of the things when we get to the save game stuff, which we're coming up on here, we need to have all these exported, otherwise it doesn't save this. And we need to know what this is. Let's start a new one. In Godot.net, when using resource saver, what happens if you can't export a variable? I know. How do you work around it? Static variables, complex objects need to be resources. Workarounds. If the variable isn't saved, consider marking it, changing it to support. If it's a custom class, make it inherit from resource. So this is, wait, didn't we do that? Is that what the fuck it's talking about? Fuck this thing. How did they do that? We're doing this, we're running in circles here. I like this. Because I did this last time and we did this exact same thing. Okay, so this thing inherits and it becomes a partial class. What is this thing? This thing is a public partial, and we go resource. Why does it let me do this one? Like, why does it let me do them differently? And then when you say resource, then we go back. It'd be fun to be able to do this with an, you know, one day I'm going to get a job as a programmer. I'm not. I'm waiting. I'm not just sitting here thinking. I mean, I'm thinking too, but I'm, well, vaguely thinking. All right, well, that seemed to have worked. So, save this again. And this is our test thing. So now we need to make this test happen. So how do we do that? Population generation. So the population's been generated, and we put this thing. We can do it right here. Now how do we do that? GD print for each. Now let's write a method and stick it at the end here, like after this for. I don't have a GD print already in here. I'm shocked. At the end of this, so at the end of this, we'll go GD print hero. Well, you know, I'm calling it a hero personality, but it's not. It's being assigned to everyone. They get everyone gets a personality. Which could also, wow, we could really expand on this. We could pull some other dumb shit I've done into here, into their personalities, like the unhelpful perk. And then that thing that I was talking about at the very, very beginning of the stream where I was saying we need to have some sort of activity for the hero where they're trying to do some like social influencing. We could have them change people's personality. Huh. Okay. Well, personality. Then what do we do here? Do we run this thing? Population data. Do I not have a population data here? Oh, we're doing it all inside of this. But aren't we adding this to some list or something? Only in certain cases. We're adding it to the population data. Okay, so we can't do this here. What we'll do instead is at the end of each one of these things that runs, we will, for each population data in county data dot population data list. We have to do this twice. I think I had this on here. It was crazy because I remember having this crazy, I must have deleted it, but I had this crazy GD print that printed out a bunch of shit. At one time, chat got upset because I didn't want to I didn't want to add GD to using GD at the top. Someone in chat got it, and it was very surprising to me that they gave a shit. They were very passionate about that one thing. So how do I run that thing? Hero personality dot. Doesn't this have to be like that? No. So what does this thing say? Yeah, I know what that does. Did you intend to invoke this method? I don't fucking know, man. This is returning a nothing. Okay, so that makes, you can't, okay, so this is, yeah. So what we would do instead is we would go like this. We would go like this, and then we go like that. It's going to do a new line, but who gives a fuck? So then for this, we also need this to run all the heroes because they're different. And that's the only way we're testing this right now. Hero list. Okay, so then we run this. Oh, I saw an error down there. Nope. So this doesn't work. Still. Let's get rid of this real quick. And let's run this and see if this even works, what we're trying to do here. I think I did put resources. Maybe I didn't put, I don't know. We'll look here. So this should have something for every person. It should flood the thing. So we got a bunch of offensive. Is there any defensive in here? Did I assign them? Defensive. All I saw were offensive personalities. Oh, gone the wrong direction. New defensive personality. New offensive personality. Oh, you can't jump through it like that. Offensive, defensive. Resources. I personality. Partial class. So why didn't we get any defensive personalities? We should have gotten, just for the heroes, let me double check how we're doing that GD prints, because it could be that I have some mistake in here. Hero builders list. Well, there's the problem. In county. See, if you hadn't pointed out that GD print issue, then we would have been doing this forever. All right, so we got our defensive personalities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we also have some offensive in here. 8 seems wrong. Oh, because this is running multiple times. So that works. Now we just got to figure out the export problem, because this is, if we can get this to work, it would make our lives a lot better. The other way we would do it is just with a resource. Oh, but we can't, because a resource can't have these different things. Like these need to be different. Like they need to have the same name but be different. I mean, I guess we could have in there, we can have a different one for each personality, but then it's like, what the fuck, man? I mean, we're having that here, but it still would be, we'd have to have a different name for each one. And we'd have to remember, yeah, that would be a huge mess, because, yeah, it would be, we would go back to the switch thing would be better. So let's go back to this population data. This is a partial public, this is a resource. So what is your problem here? It took a very long time for this thing to get its act together and say it was a problem. Let's build it, and maybe that will hurry up and give us our issue. Maybe this will help, as I notice there's a doc thing here. There's a doc thing here. Oh, we're on the unstable version. Oh, right, we're back to this variable this variable compatible variant compatible thing. We've done this whole thing like 4 times. Export C# interface, and they say no. This is, how old is this thing? It's a couple of years old. Oh, they're telling, yeah, we don't need to actually look at it though. See, that's one of the things is we don't need to look at the fucking thing. We just need it to export for the resource saver. Okay, so they have an export down here. So how would we test this though? We're not saving anything yet. They have it exported down here. They have this exported? Can you export partial class? No. Oh wait, it was down here. It was inside this motherfucker. Export. No. They had something else going on. So they got their interface. My interface. They got their properties with a getter setter in there. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. Oh, so it's, yeah, we can't export these things. This doesn't help us any. What we want to do is be able to assign. It wasn't on purpose. What we want to do is be able to assign these personalities to a variable that needs to be able to be saved. To disk with the resource saver. So maybe we need to do it a different way. Maybe we can't save to disk with the resource saver with the complications of our thing. Because this is really this interface thing would be the best way to do this. And like I said, we could even expand on this interface thing to have it like much more complicated, but it would run. We would just have it just run their fucking personality, that part of their personality, and it would be the difference. We could break up. Man, it would be so much better if we get this interface to work. So let's. That still doesn't work. That still doesn't work. Oh, we're in the wrong thing. I had inherit from resource. Global class, huh? Do I have that? I think I do. I don't have global class on here because I didn't need it, I don't think. And I think it's pulling some shit out of its ass is what I think it's doing. I think it's pulling shit out of its ass. ChatGPT is. I tried that other chat engine. It was kind of interesting. Just making sure we're in the same thing there. All right, we tried that. So it wants us once again to do this. This isn't the problem. I'm trying to export from nested resources. I am trying to export from another resource, so that resource can be saved with the resource saver. Ensure. Look at this thing's trying to talk like it's a human. Fuck out of here. You notice that in like movies and stuff, they always have like the robots talk a specific way so that we know that they're a robot. So it's yeah, and so far it seems like from the beginning of when they first created things that pretended they would be humans, they never wanted to make it so that there was obvious it wasn't a human. So thinking like phone trees and stuff, they're obviously not a human when you're talking to them, but they're trying to make them as human-like as possible. It's not like sci-fi where they all talk differently. Even like Data, he's supposed to be trying to be a human. He talks differently. I think I'm confusing this thing. It's this. It is this part. This still hasn't said, though. It can't be. Do I have something unsaved? I have something unsaved. It's already 3 hours. I think this is going to be the way to do it. I just got to figure out how to do this. And we might have to... Well, no, we'll finish the 2 things we got to do. The exporting of member... Like, how hardcore do we want to implement this if we can't save it this way? How could we save this as something... So when we load it, we would say, like, load this personality. Because we could do that. That one workaround is we could do, like, we save an int, that's the hero's personality, and it always pulls this, but that's dumb. Then we're back to, like, switches and stuff. That would just be for saving and loading. But we could do something dumb like that. Use a concrete resource. Make concrete subclasses. Update population data to use hero personality base. What is hero personality base that they're... Yeah, I can't do that though. Or... Oh, this is a resource that's like buried in... Okay, so they're saying like make a resource and... We went through this whole thing. We're just going in circles. Use an enum instead. Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, then we would assign like it back when we load it or whatever. So this is, I think what we'll do is we'll take this off. I have fucked my future self. This will not save with the resource saver. And we'll figure it out when we get to there. Let's push this code. So what did we do today? Dicked around with hero personalities, and we did something right at the beginning. Fixed equipment. implemented equipment, new equipment button. And that one worked perfectly for some reason. Let's close this. Because these are just constantly being modified. Because yeah, if we could use an interface there, I think that would be like, I keep running into the same issue, but we could make some jank workaround for saving and loading. I wonder how other people do it. Godot C# saving interfaces to disk. No, to dick. Whoa. Whoa. I mean, this must be some, like, there must be a way to do it. I mean, there must be. And there's somebody more knowledgeable than me probably knows how to do it. All right, so let's commit this crap. Oh, I didn't close this right after I said I was going to close it. And let's push it. And then let's close this thing. Let's see who's streaming. Like I said, I'm trying to be more personable. What's the opposite of antisocial? I'm trying to be more social. That sounds terrible. Let's see who is streaming right now. Oh, now we're getting an echo. Mute myself. Squib's streaming. He's streaming that Kingdom Come Deliverance game. We can rate him. This is that game I was mentioning to you, Lord Mac. I don't know if you were around when I was talking to myself, probably. Where I was really impressed with how alive they make the villages. Yeah, let's just rate this. Let's rate Squib here. That'll be he's a nice guy. Let's find him. Let me go back to here. And let me go back over here. And let me go to this. We shall raid following. You know, I'm doing it wrong. Okay. It's like I've been streaming for like 2 years and I'm now figuring out he has a weird thing called knock. I don't know what this is. I'm gonna knock. Why does it say knock? Am I supposed to knock? I'm gonna knock. I don't know what it is. No, I didn't want to do that. No. I wanted to raid. I didn't want to do that. That was a mistake. Geez, now I'm embarrassed. I'm blushing. I can't hear him talking. Oops. In 1 second. There we go. I didn't know what that knock thing was. All right, I gotta say sorry about it. But I'm gonna stop my stream. Thank